There, I'm starting off with you far enough away this time, I think, without having to move you. I had to do a lot of jiggery pokery because there's a cat that's getting off now, the chair I was going to sit on. She's been, every time I come out, she's commandeered it. Um, it's cooler out here than it's been for days. It's nice. The only reason I won't stay out here is because I shall probably be inundated with flies. It's really noisy at the moment. We've got a diversion. I'm not really sure where from, but we sat out here reading earlier and it's just really noisy. I can hear something coming down now, so there's lots of lorries up and down. I, for the last 2 weeks, I'd increased my steroids to try and get on top of the energy issue, and whilst some of the time they didn't work all of the time, and I felt that I should go back to my normal dose, so I'm attempting now to taper back down to my normal dose. But I had a blood test, my normal blood test this morning. I have one every 2 weeks, and my C-reactive protein, which is how they measure my inflammation for PMR, is up from last time. Now that shouldn't be up if I'm taking extra milligrams of steroids. It shouldn't be up. It should have given a false result, really, and it hasn't done. It's, so I can't imagine what it would have been had I not increased my steroids. So it's a bit confusing, really, and I can't get to see my rheumatologist for another 2.5 months, so I'm just going to have to suck it up. I do feel better today, she says, having to straighten up because her back hurts, neck hurts. Saturday I felt horrible on Saturday, and I can't tell you why. I felt really flat. I think the heat, that even though we're indoors keeping cool, we've got the shutters closed, the heat was oppressive. Plus we've still got no internet, and I, as you know, I spend a lot of time on the internet, and I'm not able to use the phone in a way that I use the internet. So for instance, I text Duncan earlier and asked him if he could fit air conditioning for us into our bedroom, and he wanted to see a link or some pictures, and I found it really difficult providing him with the information, from finding it, first of all, getting it to open, because of course my 4G is crap as well, so it's all very slow and very frustrating, but it's not anything compared to what else is going on in the world, is it? So I'm not gonna go any further down that whining road. Yeah, it's not looking good. And I think Trump was so disappointed with his crap parade, which I've not been able to follow up properly, not as much as I wanted to, and I said that, didn't I? Well, I've still not been able to do that, but it's like that didn't work for him, so now he's got to up the ante, and so he goes and drops bombs on Iran, claiming that they've obliterated the nuclear sites that they targeted, and they haven't. And a lot of it had been moved because he obviously was talking about plans for a week or so before, which gave them a chance to move, and they were probably using signal chat or something to discuss what they were doing and who they were targeting. Absolute bonkers. And now Iran are retaliating, and explosions have been heard over Doha in Qatar, and there's an Iraqi American Air Force base that's having to take precautions, and Doha are taking precautions, and apparently Iran have said that they'll close the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. So about a third of the world's oil comes through there, so that is interesting. But he won't have seen that. He doesn't. Oh, excuse me, itch. That bloody cocaine was off. Keep telling my dealer to get me something decent. I was thinking to myself that I didn't do physics, and I wasn't studious at school. I didn't do that well at school, and I didn't know that it was Newton's law. But actually, I did know that with every action there is a reaction, and it's like he shouldn't. I was gonna say he should know that, but I know that he doesn't know that because he's a twat. He doesn't know that. Um, and that's what's so worrying, that he does not understand that when he throws a stone at something, something's going to happen. There's going to be a consequence. And with the tariffs, he was able to backpedal after a few days and say, oh, well, I've changed my mind, or I'll delay it for 2 weeks, or I'll do this. You cannot backpedal dropping bombs on another country. He's not going to be able to come back from that. The last thing I saw about him on Blue Sky earlier was that he predicts a regime change in Iran. Well, I predict a regime change, and I predict it in the USA. God, I came to talk about the weather. I did. I came to talk about the weather and to whine at you about what's going on, and I wasn't planning to have a bit of a rant or a lot of a rant. But I've ranted. It's not unusual, is it? Not unusual at all. So there, that's it. It's Monday. Mark had his blood test this morning, which is good, so we'll be able to see what's going on for him with regards to his kidneys. And I've noticed on my blood test that my filtration rate is raised. Raised. I don't know whether his was raised or lowered. So I'm wondering whether it was something we were both eating for a while back then. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, it's good to get started on investigating what's going on with him, because that was very worrying last week. I think we've become less worried as we've realised it's quite likely that his diabetes, that he sort of doesn't acknowledge, had got a bit out of control, and because he wasn't taking the metformin. So I'm hopeful that now he's taking the metformin and that we've changed our diet, that things will improve for him. I was going to do, what did I do today? Yesterday I made this. We had chicken yesterday I made a pseudo roast dinner. It was chicken done in the air fryer with a couple of roast potatoes each, small roast potatoes, and I did some fried cabbage with fried cabbage and onions, and the rest of some cauliflower that I had. So we had that, but there were 3 chicken breasts. One of them was big, so I cut that up, and I'd got frozen that I'd kept the remains of a butter sauce that I'd made butter chicken about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. So I put that chicken in there and cooked that up yesterday. Then we had that today, and we were gonna have it with, I was going to do it with quinoa, because I thought quinoa was going to be better than rice, because I know on the Fast 800 diet, when we were doing that over 3 years ago now, that quinoa was on the list quite a bit. But actually, when I googled this morning as we were on our way to get our bloods done, quinoa is higher in carbs than rice, which really surprises me. So yeah, and white rice is higher in carbs than brown rice. Well, we eat brown rice most of the time anyway, so that was fine. So we had a much smaller portion of rice than we have in the past, so that's good. And then we had sardines on a slice of toast, thin toast, each tonight. So that was that. That's it now. Until tomorrow lunchtime, and tomorrow I made chicken casserole. 6 weeks ago with chicken legs, and there was one leg and some casserole left, which I froze. Well, apart from the others that I froze that we've eaten. So I took that out to defrost, and that's been in the fridge for a couple of days. So I'm going to take that out tomorrow, add the remains of the chicken gravy that we had yesterday made with chicken stock that I made, and the remains of the butter sauce. Going to mix that all in to the chicken casserole. Not sure how much chicken is in there, and come up with a plan to add to the meat value of it. So that's going to be one of my interesting meals. I do interesting meals sometimes. It's going to be cooler. It's going to be, I think it's going to be cooler overnight, and 15 in the early hours. We've had the aircon in our bedroom for the last 2 nights, but it's really loud. It's a portable machine, and we have to drag it round through the door, and we have a big thick hose going out the window, a big cardboard box to close off the window aperture, and the big exhaust tube goes through a hole in the cardboard box. So it's a real piece of work that Mark made, and I can't remember the name of they used to call it something when somebody put something together and made it work. I can't remember now. Anyway, so that's how we do it, but it is really noisy, and because I couldn't get to sleep last night, I got up for an hour, and when I came back in the dark, I had to do some really clever work to get myself over the hose without falling over. And yeah, and there's a watering can. We have a watering can up there to take the water out that comes out of a small hose. It's all very complicated, which is why I've said to Duncan, do you think you can come and put some air conditioning in for us? Because we have these canicules every... That's right, I thought she was going to go for the tripod. We have these canicules 2 or 3 times a year, and this is it, you know. And even when there isn't a canicule, I find it really uncomfortable in summer. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. But we won't need the aircon on tonight, which is good. So I think we'll sleep well tonight, because we didn't sleep well again last night. It's odd. I don't know why. I mean, it was cool enough. In fact, it was quite cold, but it's just so noisy. I think that might be the issue. I don't know. So we should sleep. It's going to be 15, and then it's going to warm up again. Right, I'm going to go in. I nearly choked on my water then, so probably best to end now before I do choke on my water. Oh, I'm watching it on my phone, which is really, you know, if you imagine the screen size of my Mac and the screen size of my phone, it's very difficult, but I watched it anyway. I watched Leave Everything and Wander, about Luca's panic attack, which doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me in the least that they have PTSD from what happened to him. So any slight, and then he's had the surgery, and of course he would have been was elated about having the surgery, and you come out of surgery, that sort of surgery that you've been desperately waiting for, and you're on a high and your adrenaline's really going, and then there's a drop. And I think that's what's happened for him. And then, you know, he had this, which he didn't know was a panic attack, come on when they were eating Sunday dinner. And it's a shame. But I'm not surprised, because it's frightening. What happened to them is frightening, and it'll be a long time before they can perhaps relax and feel like they're going to be okay, and everything's going to be okay, and they can move on. Yeah, not good. So I watched that. I got Sandy Brock. She's done a video. I might sit and watch that with it on the tripod, my phone on the tripod. Then it might help, so I don't have to hold it or have it leaning on something. I think I'll do that. I'll sit here and watch Sandy Brock and hope that the flies leave me alone until that's finished. Anyway, that's all from me, and I hope you're all well. Thanks for all your comments as usual. I will get to answer them eventually. I did answer a lady that talked to me about my health issues. I I did respond to that, but other than that, I've not responded. So I will do when I get the internet back, and I don't know when that's going to be. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.